drew upon experiences of people that they knew.
I thought I told you, me and you, it was just a stupid mistake.
One we keep making.
Well, don't worry, it won't happen again.
The aim was to explore the issue honestly, and I think that research paid off.
Remember what it's like when it's just you. Me.
It's never just you and me, though, is it? God will always know. Well, what I think is so upsetting for Saeed is the fact that there is no overall resolution to this. He either loses his family, loses his faith, or lies to himself. Love makes us do stupid things. Crazy stuff we'd never consider doing otherwise.
And of course, the best way to solve a problem in EastEnders is to lie, then lie some more.
Have you never lied for love? We have this running joke, both Priya and myself, that one of us, usually myself, Saeed, is hiding something always. So there's this really weird, I've got to hide this, and not very successfully. Actually, we were just discussing wedding plans. That's what we were doing when you came in.
More surprises?
You could say that, yeah.
I had to do oblivious acting. I think I'm going to put that on my CV.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to recognise any sort of sexual chemistry between her best friend and her husband. Why did you come back?
There were some ridiculous lights, like the bottle top.
What's up with the door?
I think there's a bottle top wedged underneath. To which she fell for. And then she comes in, we've both got stubble rash all over our faces.
Christian!
Hey!
Love is blind, isn't it?
Saeed and Christian aren't the first gay characters in Albert Square. Back in 1986, life was very different for Colin Russell.
Colin Russell was a graphic designer who burst onto the square in 1986.
Tony Holland, who created the show, was very keen that Colin shouldn't just be defined by his sexuality. He should just be an ordinary bloke living in the East End, going about his life.
For a while there, he had the ladies of Walford guessing.
Not married then?
No.
But Angie Watts knew better.
Men. If I could kick the habit, I'd be as free as a bird.
Wouldn't we all? I mean, if we could steer clear of relationships.
And she went, "It's all right, darling. I know." And that was the brilliant thing.
Live and let live. That's my motto.
And I often think back to that moment, that across the country, those people who knew, and certainly the gay men who knew and had spotted the signs, all went, "Ah!"
And then Colin met Barry, and sparks flew.
Yeah, fine, thanks.
See, I had that effect on people. Barry was about as different from Colin as he could be, really.
So what's this room so bad? You've just been burgled or something?
Well, we don't even like the same kind of rooms.
Barry was working class, Colin was middle class. Colin moved into the square, Barry came from the square. He was sophisticated, you know, he would listen to Beethoven and Barry would listen to, you know, Spandau Ballet. Didn't drink that much, did I?
No, only about 23 pints.
Oh, comedian.
Barry was a lad. I mean, he was a chap who was out there just to have some fun.
Once I set my sights on something, I'd go for it. And he just moved in without asking Colin. You know, I remember him bringing a goldfish round and putting it on top of the telly.
How do you put up with him?
But off-screen, it was an altogether different story.
When the first gay couple, Colin and Barry, were introduced in the very early days of EastEnders, it caused a furore.
Even before I'd appeared on screen, the front page of one of the tabloids screamed, "East Benders."
I remember filming on the lot one morning up at the square, and they bought a copy of the Daily Star and a banner headline about yay big that just said,
"Filth. Get this off our TV." That was the reality of what we were trying to do. I remember walking down the street and a guy shouting out to me, "AIDS carrier." I remember having a brick through my window. It was real. The show actually depicted what was going on in real life.
In 1987, EastEnders featured their first gay kiss.
it was a peck on the forehead. It was really, really no big deal.
A simple scene, and it just said, "Colin kisses Barry."
The abuse, I mean, really nasty homophobic remarks I really didn't imagine that there would be any of the kind of nonsense that there was.
Michael and Gary, who played those characters, dealt with a huge amount of public scrutiny incredibly well and with great dignity.
Here, do you go out to two pubs? Well, no. No offence, Carl, mind you. No, taken.
Colin didn't have an easy ride in the square. So there were the obvious people who didn't like him, like Nasty Nick Cotton.
Mind if I join you?
Yes.
Made it up, have you? Want to be alone? Little lovebirds reunion.
Of course, the odd couple wasn't just Colin and Barry. It was Colin and Dot.
Oh, Dot, I thought I'd come and explain a few things about...
There was this whole kind of scene in the laundrette where she discovers that Barry and Colin have been sleeping together.
Are you trying to tell me that you and Colin sleep in the same sheets at the same time, in the same bed?
And then, slowly, she says, "You don't mean that you and
Colin are homosexuals?
And it's wonderful because the reaction
Barry.
is so honest and truthful.
I thought you was just friends. You know, flatmates.
Yeah, well, we are.
Oh.
Eventually, Colin and Barry were accepted by the residents of Walford. But it wasn't to last. Colin and Barry broke up, but they left their mark in EastEnders history.
I look back on it with amazing memories, with an immense sense of pride of being involved in EastEnders. They had the courage to depict real life and thereby change people's minds. And it's not often you can say you were a part of that, and I'm immensely proud.
I wonder to what extent that first kiss on the forehead just opened the door a crack for EastEnders and other shows just to be a bit more honest about how they depicted the relationship between their gay characters.
And since Colin and Barry, a few more gay characters have rocked the square.
I'm like you. I'm gay.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Sonia, where are you?
Just wouldn't be normal.
Are you gay?
Would it matter?
Wouldn't to me, no.
I'll find you a man if you find me one.
Was it me?
It's okay.
And I rather like look of Phil Mitchell. Do you don't think you could...
Derek, you are awful.
You kiss all your mates like that, do you, Sonia?
Just snap of the fingers, there you are, flat on your back. What you say?
No, Tony.
Make myself sick. You just lost, that's all.
Granddad, please don't turn your back on me.
Dave. You've never done that in public before.
You can't hide from it.
I'm with Amira. I love her. Totally.